Last night, you heard it again. That sound outside your window, once not casual, but repeatedly. At around 3 a.m. at first, you told yourself it's normal. Wind, trees, nature. Nothing unusual. But something about it didn't feel normal. Because it wasn't just sound. It felt like attention. Like something outside was aware of you while you were trying not to think about it. And here's what makes it more unsettling. You weren't fully asleep when it happened. You were aware enough to notice enough to feel that strange pause between each flap, each movement, each moment of silence in between. And that's where the question begins. Why would a bird be active at that exact time, near your window, repeatedly? Here's what most people don't realize. Nature doesn't act randomly in ways we notice repeatedly. When something feels repeated, your brain starts assigning meaning to it, but because your mind is trying to make sense of uncertainty. And this is where it gets interesting. The first possibility is simple observation. Some birds become active at night due to light source, insects, or environmental changes. Streetlights can confuse their internal rhythm. Windows reflect light. To a bird, your room might look like movement, like sky, like something alive. So what looks like watching you might actually be curiosity toward reflection or light, but that's not the only layer. Because the second thing most people overlook is timing. 3 a.m. is not special to birds, but it is special to humans. That's when everything is quiet. No background noise, no distraction, no mental clutter. A single flap feels like an event. A single call feels intentional. And your brain, in that half-aware state, starts filling in gaps. It starts asking questions you normally wouldn't ask. Why now? Why me? And that question is where perception starts shifting. The third point is repetition. If it happened once, you'd forget it. If it happened twice, you might ignore it. But if it happens again, same window, same timing, your brain begins pattern recognition. Here's what most people don't realize. The human brain is designed to detect patterns for survival. Even random noise becomes meaningful if it repeats enough times in the same cause. So when you hear that bird again and again, your mind begins to create structure where there might be none. But that doesn't mean the experience feels any less real, because perception is powerful. Now the fourth layer is psychological response. When you are in a quiet environment and something interrupts that silence, your awareness spikes instantly. Your heart rate changes slightly. Your attention sharpens. Your thoughts slow down. And suddenly you're not just hearing a sound, you're analyzing it, waiting for it, spitting it. And this anticipation creates tension your mind tries to resolve. But it can't, because the pattern doesn't fully explain itself. And fifth point is instinct. Here's what most people don't realize. Humans still carry ancient survival instincts. Before cities, before electricity, before glass windows, nighttime sounds meant awareness of environment. Something moving outside your shelter at night could mean danger. So even now, in a safe environment, your brain reacts the same way. A bird at 3 a.m. outside your window triggers something older than logic. Not fear exactly, but alertness. A quiet internal signal. T says, pay attention. Now the sixth point is environment reflection. Sometimes, birds are not reacting to you directly, like warm air currents, reflections in glass, movement shadows from inside your room. To a bird, your window is not a barrier, it's a surface, a mirror of motion. So when it appears to look inside, it may actually be reacting to its own reflection. But here's where perception bends again, because to you, it doesn't feel like reflection, it feels like observation. And that difference changes everything. The seventh point is emotional projection. When something unexplained repeats, the human mind starts attaching meaning based on feeling, not fact. If the moment feels calm, you ignore it. If it feels slightly uneasy, you question it. You remember it. And memory is where the experience becomes real. Not because the bird is doing anything different, but because your awareness is. Now here's where it escalates. The eighth point is isolation effect. At night, when everything is silent, even small interactions feel amplified. A car passing far away meant. In that environment, your mind has fewer distractions, so it focuses deeper on whatever is present. That creates a loop. You notice the bird moves. You notice again. And the silence in between becomes part of the experience. Not empty space, but loaded space. Now the ninth point is the psychological mirror. Here's what most people don't realize. Sometimes what disturbs us is not what we see, but what we feel while seeing it. A bird at your window is neutral, but your interpretation of it is not. It becomes a reflection of your current mental state. Stress makes it feel suspicious. Fatigue makes it feel eerie. Curiosity makes it feel meaningful. So the same event changes depending on you. And that is why it stays in memory. Now the final point, and this is where everything shifts. Sometimes experiences like this are not messages from outside. They are reminders of awareness itself. You become more conscious of silence, more aware of small movements, more sensitive to presence. And in that state, the world feels different. Not because it changed, but because you did. And maybe that's the real reason you remember it. Not the sound, but the moment you observed how deeply you were paying attention. Because attention, once fully activated, does not easily turn off. And that's what lingers long after the night ends. So the next time you hear something outside your window at 3 a.m., Don't rush to label it, just observe it. And notice what it does to your awareness. Because sometimes the most ordinary sounds feel unusual only when you are fully awake inside them. And if this has ever happened to you, you'll know exactly what I mean. Maybe it was just maybe it was a moment your mind refused to ignore.